Hello Internet, this is the first video of a series of videos where we learn everything about Shopify Hydrogen optimization. And in this video in particular, we're learning about prefetching. What is prefetching? Well, imagine that you had a store where fetching products, or let's say collections, but in this case, for the case of this demo, fetching products was very slow, and for the sake of the demo, I artificially added a timeout of like a slip of 3 seconds here before the query to the storefront. Okay, so artificially added 3 seconds, so obviously it's going to make everything very slow. So let's try and click on one of these products. It's as if I didn't even click, right? It's because it's taking way too long. If I try and click on a different one, you see, same thing. It's very slow, right? So if we had obviously your store should be much faster than that, but if for whatever reason you had performance issues and some of the queries were significantly slow on your website, one way to solve that could be to rely on Remix prefetching. What is prefetching? Well, in Remix you have a way to, you have three different modes of prefetching, and one that does nothing. When you have, because if you go back to this page, this is basically the collections page, and this page, when the visitor lands on the collections page, the assumption is that they're going to visit the products from that page, right? So you can predict based on, you can infer the customer intent and originally prefetch the content for each of these pages, right? You can prefetch because most likely if a visitor is landing on a page like this, their intent is to visit the products on that particular page. So Remix gives you 3 ways here. One is intent, and basically it means that, and this is the recommended way of prefetching, it means that Remix is going to prefetch the data when the user hovers, or when Remix thinks the user is about to click on the product itself. The viewport mechanism, it will load the product, all of them, like whenever a particular link is in the viewport, meaning it's visible, like it's in the visible area of the application. If you go to the home page, for example, this will be like if you're here, let's say for the case of the recommended products here, if when we land on the home page, until only we scroll down to this section, if we were using the viewport, then and only then these products here are going to be prefetched. But the problem with that compared to the intent is that we may end up sending way too many requests. Imagine you had 100 products here that were all of a sudden visible in the viewport. That's 100 requests sent to your server, and obviously the user is not going to click on all of them at once, right? So that's why it's a much better way to use the intent when you're trying to do prefetching. And the other way is render. I'm not very familiar with it because I've not used it a lot, but let's see here the documentation. Fetches when the link is rendered. Okay, so what that means is that when we render the link, okay, the fetching happens immediately after, which is obviously as well not very efficient in terms of your server resources. So obviously what you want to do is to fetch based on the intent when the user hovers on the product. Let's, if you go back to the collections page here, the men's collection, when the user hovers on the product, then we prefetch, and that can solve the optimization issue. And let's see how. So if you go in the collection routes, okay, you see obviously the Shopify CLI scaffolded it with that prefetching set to intent. Commented it out for the sake of demonstration to show you how the store was slow before. Now if I put that back and I grab this here and this one here, just because I want to show you the terminal, I want to show you the prefetching happening. Okay, so now if I go here and I hover on this page, you see, if I hover here like this, you see the prefetch happening. You see here prefetching. Whenever I hover on anything here, the prefetch happens for that product. You see, prefetching, and then if I click on any of them, it's going to be a lot faster than before. I think think the prefetch, it should be I should click on the one I've just prefetched. So remember, I added a timeout of 3 seconds here, like this. You see, 3 seconds. So if I hover on this product for 3 seconds, right? I hover on this product for 3 seconds and then I click. I no longer have that issue, right? It's not. It looks fast, even though it takes 3 seconds for the product to fetch. Let's do it again on this product here. Let me hover on this product, on this sneaker, white sneaker. You see, it's being prefetched. Now I click, instantaneous. It looks instantaneous to the user, right? So that's how you can, if you, for whatever reason you end up having very slow requests, okay, that's how you can quickly solve the problem. I mean, not quickly, but like that's a solution that always works. Anyway, you should always have intent set prefetch set to intent, okay? And this can really be handy if for whatever reason your API calls to the storefront API became very slow, like we artificially did in this video. I hope you found this useful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, because there's a lot more optimization tips in our backlog for you guys, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers, bye bye.